Hello and welcome to the news on Zodiac with me, Happy Mzembe. First, the headlines. Interim report on Chikangawa plane crash shows the plane had no cockpit voice recorder, no flight data recorder. Lilongwe City Council collecting city rates from only 2,000 out of 40,000 properties, which is affecting service delivery. Macra challenges operators of broadcast institutions to strive for content production that is relevant to the audience. In sports, Flames coach Patrick Mabedi names a 28-member squad for 2 AFCON assignments next month. Now the news in detail. A preliminary report by German Federal Bureau of Aircraft Accident Investigation on the plane crash that claimed lives of former Vice President Saul Stilima and others show that the plane was not equipped with either a cockpit voice recorder nor a flight data recorder. The interim report largely traced on movements of the MDF aircraft from Zuzu Airport to Kamuzu International Airport and back to the site of the crash. The report so far gives indications that the plane lost height and collided onto a tree before crashing. We have this report by Kasim Awubi.
The interim report of the accident released by the German Federal Bureau of Aircraft Accidents Investigation today has highlighted a number of areas. Among others, the report indicates that the aircraft first collided with the trunk of a tree with outer part of the right wing at a height of 4.5 meters before hitting the ground. The report also shows that radio communications between the flight crew and the flight information services were not recorded, and that the aircraft's emergency locator transmitter was not functioning because its batteries had expired in 2004. It also says there was no evidence of fire in the flight or after the impact. The report has since recommended that Malawi's Minister of Defense should ensure that aircraft of Malawi Air Force transporting persons are equipped with functional emergency locator transmitter. Michael Kayatsa is Vice Chairperson of the Human Rights Defenders Coalition, one of the institutions that pushed for the investigations into the accident, and describes the release of the interim report as a positive development.
Our expectation, first of all, is that this report will be accessible to all Malawians, and that the comprehensive report that the investigators are talking about would also be made public, so that people should have a chance to appreciate what really happened, what caused the tragedy, and also the circumstances surrounding it. However, we are also hopeful that the other entities that have been carrying out similar investigations will do the same to make sure that they are releasing their reports to the general public. We have in mind the MDF report.
Government officials are yet to comment on the release of the interim report. For Zodiac in Lilongwe, this is Kasimu Aubi reporting.
Well-concerned parties have voiced their opinions on the development, among them UTM spokesperson Felix Njawala.
We have seen the reports, and we have shared with some experts who help us with an analysis. Then after that analysis, that's when we can react. At the moment, we are not saying anything. We are looking forward to get information on what really happened. So any report that will help us realize that wish will be welcomed. We are not commenting on this one because it's a technical document, and we don't want to comment before we can get technical assistance. So we can only react after the experts have finalized the analysis.
Spokesperson for the Chilima family, Joshua Valela, said as a family they are still analyzing the report. Meanwhile, Transport Minister Jacob Hara says government will wait for a comprehensive report to move Parliament to deliberate on the Chikangawa plane crash. Mr. Hara said this in Parliament following calls from some opposition members of Parliament proposing a discussion on the interim report by German Federal Bureau of Aircraft Accident Investigation. Hara, who is also the chief whip of the government side, asked for patience from parliamentarians and the general public despite the preliminary findings. The Lilongwe City Council says it's collecting city rates from only 2,000 out of 40,000 properties, a development which is affecting its operations. Speaking in Zodiac exclusive program, the city mayor Esther Sagawa said this is a sign of dissatisfaction with the city's service delivery and lack of knowledge on the importance of paying the city rates. A social commentator, Victor Chipofia, has since urged city authorities to ensure improved service delivery if it wants to motivate people. Franklin Mtambalika compiled this report. The newly elected Lilongwe City Mayor Esther Sagawa has expressed concern that people in the city expect the council to provide them with better services from the little funds they collect from 2,000 properties out of 40,000. Sagawa believes awareness raising is crucial for residents to appreciate challenges the city is facing due to their non-compliance on the city rates.
Some are not aware that they're supposed to be paying the city rates, and they don't feel like it's necessary to do so, and some also are lamenting issues to do with service delivery. So we are fixing all those areas and making sure that people are aware of what they are supposed to pay. And we are also trying to provide to them a very good service so that the service they get is befitting in the city rates that they are remitting to their council.
A social commentator, Victor Chipofia, says much as it is the responsibility of the citizenry to comply with the law, the council should be seen to work.
It's a multifaceted issue in the way that once one starts to contribute to city rates, they need to be able to see the outcome of whatever they are giving. It is also the responsibility of every reasonable citizen to be able to take it upon themselves to know that government does not run by itself.
Meanwhile, the council has announced that it has waived penalties on outstanding city rates dating back from 2015 for those that are going to pay between 1st September to 31st December 2024. Malawi Communications Regulatory Authority (MACRA) has challenged operators of broadcast institutions in the country to put an extra gear producing content that is relevant to the audience. MACRA Director General Daud Suleiman made the call in Lilongwe during the launch of Campus Ready project, where he observed that most broadcasters fail to create content that is relevant for their audience. Communication and broadcasting expert Dr. Sidney Kankuzi has commended the Campus Radio initiative by MACRA, saying it will help in addressing the content creation problem in the country. Details with John Paul Kayuni.
The Malawi Communications Regulatory Authority (MACRA) says the country struggles to create right content which is relevant for broadcasting due to lack of knowledge and expertise, among others. MACRA Director General Daud Suleiman told us for this reason they have embarked on a campus radio project to help learning institutions produce professionals in broadcasting content creation. He was speaking in Lilongwe on Friday when MACRA launched a campus radio at Share World Open University. According to Suleiman, the campus radio will also be required to strictly comply with broadcasting laws.
We want the campus radios to be relevant to the communities that have surrounded the colleges. We don't want them to compete with community radio stations, but we want them to excite content, be innovative, be creative, and achieve the delivery of content to the people and SMEs that have surrounded them.
9 more institutions of higher learning, including University of Malawi, UNIMA, Malawi University of Business and Applied Sciences, MUBAS, Lilongwe University of Agriculture and Natural Resources, Luana, Mzuzu University, Mzuni, and Malawi Adventist University, among others, will also benefit from the initiative. Communication and broadcasting expert Dr. Sidney Kankuzi has commended the initiative, saying it will help iron out content creation problems in the country.
So it means that students can easily participate in the production of different kinds of content. Right now, there's a lot of content that is being produced in our universities, but it doesn't get to radio because there's no campus radio.
MACRA has set aside 500 million Malai Kwacha for the project, with each of the 10 learning institutions using 50 million Malai Kwacha. This is John Paul Kayuni for Zodiac.
Governance experts have described as unfortunate the tendency by some ministers and members of parliament boycotting parliamentary proceedings since the opening of the 5th meeting of the National Assembly in the 50th session of parliament. The experts, Victor Chipofya and Wanda Mkuche, say this is likely to affect the interests of Malawians in the people they voted into power to represent them on issues affecting them. They have since proposed deliberate stiff disciplinary measures against cabinet ministers and members of parliament that will not attend the session without valid reasons. Zoleka Nanguo has filed a report.
The governance experts say if Malawians are not being represented well in the August House, it will make them lose trust in the responsible cabinet ministers and members of parliament. Governance commentator Victor Chipofya says if deliberate disciplinary measures are put in place against cabinet ministers and MPs that are not attending parliament sessions, it will bring sanity and most of them will start playing the role they were assigned to. He says this is a clear indication that some ministers and members of parliament do not deserve their position.
Any man that is responsible, any woman that is responsible, and they know what they need to do, would not make themselves absent at a time when they know that the nation needs their contribution. So if you're absent without any good reason, it means that you should not be holding that position of authority in the first place.
On his part, Wanda Mkuche says the Speaker of the House should ensure that the register for ministers and MPs attending the parliamentary sessions are accessible by their constituents for them to know if they are fully being represented in the House.
And their constituents also have to have access to that register. People have the right to know if their parliamentarian is representing them or not. So I believe if we can implement this effectively, we are going to force the MPs as well as the cabinet ministers to attend the parliamentary session.
On Thursday, DPP Vice President for the Southern Region, Joseph Mwanamveka, expressed worry over the tendency by some ministers of not attending the sessions, arguing that there are some questions that need to be responded to by the responsible ministers. His concern came after noting that Agriculture Minister Sam Kawale delegated Leader of the House Richard Chimwendo to represent him. Zuleika Nanguo, Zodiac, Lilongwe.
Let's now look at how the Malawi kwacha is faring against major currencies in the world, according to the Reserve Bank of Malawi. That's how the Malawi kwacha is faring against the major currencies of the world, according to the Reserve Bank of Malawi. And you're watching the news on Zodiac with me, Happy Mzembe. We'll be back after this break.
FDH Bank Cup Final. Chithumba chaThindaba 35 million kwacha ndani Blue Eagles ndi FCB Nyasa Big Bullets alimbira na ukatswiri wa 2024 FDH Bank Cup la mulungu pa 1 September pa Bimbu National Stadium ku Lilongwe. Usakuphanyeni dzindama dzachuluka. Mitengo ya matiketi ili motere: standard ticket 4,000 kwacha mukaguliratu, 6,000 kwacha tsiku la mpira. VIP ticket 18,000 kwacha kuguliratu, 20,000 kwacha tsiku la mpira. Corporate box 25,000 kwacha. Car pass ndi 500 kwacha. FDH Bank Cup Final Pachema. Association of Malawi, transforming the game.
Mbatatisi ndi chakudya chokoma kwambiri. Mbatatisi yomweyo sichuma kwa alimi otsogola komanso mavenda. Tsopano kwabwera mbatatisi ya mtundu wa chuma yomwe alimi akupha nayo makwacha. Chuma ndi mbatatisi yomwe imacha msanga masiku 90 okha, imayika kwambiri kupatsa alimi 40 tons pa hekta imodzi. Imapirira kung'amba ndi kuchita bwino ndi mvula yochepa. Imapiriranso kuchiwawo ndi tizilombo. Mbatatisi ya mtundu wa chuma ili ndi khungu lolimba, sisupuka ndipo imakhalisa ili bwinobwino komanso sipuka wamba. Ili ngulu la zakudya zokhutitsa ndipo imapatsa thanzi ndi mphamvu. Anthu ndi makampani opanga zakudya kuchoka ku mbatatisi monga chipisi, macrisps ndi zina akukonda kwambiri mbatatisi ya mtundu wa chuma. Pindulani thanzi ndi ndalama ndi mbatatisi ya mtundu wa chuma. Uthengawu akukupatsirani nda International Potato Center ndi thandizo lochokera ku the Embassy of Ireland kudzera ku RTC Market Project.
Nayi nkhata ya maluwa
zikafikatu ngati pamenepa mphamvu zimatha, nzeru imasowa. Apa ndi pamene mukuyeneka kukumana ndi Asena Tiring Contractors. Iwowa amakugwirani chanza kuti mukwanise kumanga nyumba yomaliza ya ulemu kwa okondedwa wanu. Iwowa amakumangirani chiliza chosiyanasiyana malingana ndi kukonda kwanu. Iwowa amamanga chiliza chokamangira pomwepo kapena chochita kutenga kukangoyikapo. Amafika kwina kulikonse kumene inu mukufuna kuti afike. Asena Tiring Contractors. Iwowa amapanga mtundu wina uliwonse wa chiliza chimene inu mukuchifuna ndipo amalola kumapereka pang'ono. Mukhoza kuwapeza lero mu mzinda wa Lilongwe kulikuni, kapena mukhoza kuwayimbira foni pa 093 931 909. Mukayimba namba limeneyi muyankhulana ndi Mr. Zuze Laisoni. Iwowa amafika kwina kulikonse kumene inu mukufuna kuti akafikeko.
Kudandaula kwa kholo lako mwayisudza upeza.
Kusintha kwa nyengo kwa South Africa la Malawi alimi ambiri akusowa pogwira. Koma ndi pampu ya m'manja yothirira mbewu ya fifade ndizotheka kupeza phindu lodabwitsa mulipe osapsinjika ndi kusintha kwa nyengo. Pampu ya m'manja yothirira mbewu ya fifade ndi mwayi wanu oyamba ulimi wa makono ndi mpamba ochepa. Musapite kutali, zotheka kugula pampu ya m'manja yothirira mbewu ya fifade magulu ndi alimi anzanu ndi kumabwerekana. Mumodzi tumuli mphamvu. Pampuyi ndiyokomera aliyense chifukwa ndiyosabola nthumba, yosavuta kunyamula kupititsa malo ena, komanso yosavuta kugulitsa ntchito. Ulimi uzipindulitsa anthuni. Gulani pampu ya m'manja yothirira mbewu ya fifade kuti mulekane ndi mavuto akusintha kwa nyengo. Kuti muziwe zambiri imbani 0888 711 140 kapena 0991 741 698. Fifade, Financing Agriculture Development.
Welcome back. My name is Happy Mzembe, and as we continue, let's take another look at the headline stories. Interim report on Shikangawa plane crash shows the plane had no cockpit voice recorder, no flight data recorder. Lilongwe City Council collecting city rates from only 2,000 out of 40,000 properties. MACRA challenges operators of broadcast institutions to strive for content production that is relevant to the audience. In sports news, the Flames coach Patrick Mabedi names 28-member squad for 2 AFCON assignments. Moving on with the news. Finca Malawi has set aside 1 billion kwacha for a project aimed at making education accessible and affordable in the country. The organization's chief executive officer, Charles Bello, told journalists in Blantyre that the initiative, dubbed Finca EduSmart, will spearhead better infrastructure in schools provision of desks and loans to support needy students. Some authorities at Dwangwa in Kotakota have expressed worry that most households that were affected by floods early this year have returned to disaster-prone areas after decommissioning of camps as the rainy season is approaching. Village head Simeon Kanyenda of the area says the people cannot afford to buy new land to relocate, hence the development. Recently, Nkhotakota District Council disclosed the plans to identify new land for the flood survivors in conjunction with traditional leaders, but this is yet to be fulfilled. Winston Kaimila reports from Nkhotakota.
Hundreds of flood survivors in Matiki area at Dwangwa in Nkhotakota are back in areas that are now considered as disaster-prone sites. Village head Simeon Kanyenda of the area says this is the case because the people cannot afford to buy new land. During donation of bags of maize to some of the flood survivors in the area by the Anglican Council in Malawi with support from Hope International, Village head Kanyenda called for support, saying relocating the people is crucial in preventing similar disasters. Anglican Council in Malawi Savings Ministry Coordinator, Reverend Canon Chanza, said the support demonstrates the commitment of the Anglican Church in supporting people that are in need.
We normally look into the affairs of assisting the people. Whenever there is a problem, we need to support. This, like in Acts chapter 2, whereby the first church was meeting together, collecting things together, and sharing among the people according to their needs.
For his part, Hope International Country Director Douglas Kulaisi said the support has been made in consideration that the organization works with people in the district in its projects.
The partnership with the Anglican Council in Malawi is really based on the Savings Group Ministry. We encourage the church to encourage their members and those people that are friends to their members to be saving in their communities. We do give resources for recruitment of staff that are working with the Savings Group Ministry.
A total of 550 households that were affected by the floods have received a 50-kilogram bag of maize each. Winston Kaimira, Zodiac, Nkhotakota.
The Karonga Chitipa Heritage says this year's Karonga Chitipa Cultural Festival will be used as a platform for people with valuable information about their culture to share the same with young ones for preservation using various technologies. The Heritage Chairperson Marumbo Masinga disclosed this in Longwe, adding that the event will be held from 18th to 19th October at Mbande Hill in Karonga. Masinga said they expect to spend about 50 million kwacha for the event, which will be characterized by, among others, traditional dances and food stalls.
The whole festival would be probably costing around 50 million kwacha, but that is just a ballpark figure. But we think that if we have well-wishers and other stakeholders who can help us, they might be in a position to finance it in a lower manner than what we probably anticipated. Key activities, we are expecting, as usual, traditional dances. We also expect food stalls. We want our people to come and sample the various foods that we have in our different ethnic areas. We also are going to have contemporary performances that are linked to our various cultures.
We now turn to sports news. Flames coach Patrick Mabedi has named a 28-member squad for the two Africa Cup of Nations qualifying matches against Burundi and Burkina Faso, scheduled for 5th and 9th September respectively. When announcing the names, Mabedi says though the team will only have a few days to prepare, he will get the team ready for action and hope to start the campaign on a high note. The Flames will be looking to book a place at the 2025 AFCON edition, having missed out on the 2023 edition. Bright Kanyama has filed this report.
Malawi national football team, the Flames, are kickstarting their 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualification campaign this coming Thursday when they take on visitors Burundi at Bingo National Stadium in Lilongwe before traveling to Burkina Faso 4 days later. Flames coach Patrick Mabedi has trusted 28 players to do the job for him in the two assignments. In the squad, which was released earlier this morning, the coach has recalled experienced Bullets defender Gomezian Chirwa and attacker Yamikan Chester, who have been absent since Mabedi took over as Flames coach, while veteran John Banda is expected to lead the team in both fixtures. The Flames coach has expressed concern, though, with preparation period, as the team will only be in camp for 4 days before facing Burundi.
As a coach, I'm not happy. Anyone in his professional, you need time. Even I think 4 to 5 days was a little bit better. We need to understand that it's reality when they say, if you fail to prepare, you prepare to fail. So I'm not happy that we have 1 day, which is something that as a coach I'll be happy with it.
Malawi will play Burundi on 5th September and Burkina Faso away on 9th September 2024. The team missed out on the 2023 AFCON finals and will be looking to make a return at the 2025 edition. For Zodiac, this is Bright Kanyama.
And well, that's what we had time for in this edition of the news. But before we leave you, a reminder of the headlines. Interim report on Chikangawa plane crash shows the plane had no cockpit voice recorder, no flight data recorder. Lilongwe City Council says it is collecting city rates from only 2,000 out of 40,000 properties. Macra challenges operators of broadcast institutions to strive for content production that is relevant to the audience.